Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I am Sandy Williams. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
Maroon elections scheduled for next week delayed. 4-year-old fatally wounded. And later in sports, Jamaica failed to progress to Group 2 of Davis Cup.
And now the details. The Maroon elections, initially scheduled for February 18, have been delayed. Antonia Atkinson has the details in this report.
In a statement issued on his Instagram page, Maroon Chief Richard Curry announced that the delay is to facilitate the proper execution of the process. The Akompong elections are constitutionally due every 5 years on February 18. However, the statement noted that due to the impact of Hurricane Melissa, the process of enumeration was delayed as several residences were destroyed. This has led to the displacement of residents across Maroon districts as recovery efforts continue. According to the Maroon Constitution, no election may be delayed for longer than 3 months beyond the due date. If the chief fails to call the election within the specified time, the date will be set by the Maroon Council based on a 2/3 majority vote. In the meantime, the deadline for candidates to contest the election has been extended to February 15. Persons aspiring to become chief must be residents of Akompong prior to the election and must be Maroon by birth. In 2021, Colonel Richard Curry defeated former Maroon Chief Ferren Williams. Curry polled 681 votes to Williams' 400, while former Colonel Meredith Rowe also lost his bid, receiving only 98 votes. The electorate consists of voters from 9 regions, including Akompong Town, Whitehall, Cedar Spring, Eldersley, Garland, Aberdeen, and Windsor. Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.
A 4-year-old girl was shot dead and her father seriously wounded during a gun attack in land settlement near Royal Flat in Manchester yesterday. Her identity has not yet been released. It's reported that about 4 p.m., the little girl and her father were traveling in a vehicle when they were attacked by gunmen. It is not clear what led to the incident. Police personnel were on the scene up to late last night. Over in St. Mary, a well-known businessman was shot in an early morning gun attack. According to police reports, 64-year-old Garfield Singh, who operated a tire shop on his premises in Boscobel, was ordered to open his door by men posing as police officers. It is further understood that the attackers demanded money, but Mr. Singh refused. He was then shot multiple times. The gunmen later fled the scene. Persons who knew Mr. Singh described him as a generous businessman. He was well known among motorists and employed multiple staff members. The police are continuing their investigations. Still in St. Mary, a 53-year-old man is dead after a tree fell on him. The deceased have been ID'd as Hugo Calfati of Belfield.
When I hear the first crack, when I leg out and run, everybody need to run. So about a minute after that, me hear shouting, everybody, the workers and saying, run, run, run. So me was in the bedroom at the time, and I moved myself towards the living room.
Yeah.
Then me hear the whole commotion and stuff. Then me hear when I work call for the other worker, which is the person that died.
Yeah.
And calling out his name and not hearing any answer, so we begin to search.
As the Lenten season approaches, fishermen in Clarendon are asking, where are the fish? Karen Simpson tells us more.
Fishermen in Portland Cottage in Clarendon have seen better days. Instead of fish, boats line the shoreline. They tell TVJ News that since Hurricane Melissa, their catch has depleted significantly.
After hurricane pass, we don't get no good time at sea. No good time we don't get brother for the hurricane.
Fishing now go on so good for the storm. You know. Fishing get a little slow for the storm because most of the debris them in the sea still inside there. The seafloor look like it not settle, then the current move up and down, get stronger current after the storm. And then we have a lot of low tide after storm same way. So we don't really go back to the level of fishing over the pan, but we still try to fight.
In times gone by, they further explain, fisher folk looked forward to going out to sea. This as demand is usually high during the Lenten season, but for now, things look dismal.
When people want fish, you can't get fish. And if money did if you want the fish, you can't get no fish.
The current weather conditions also a problem.
We go on top of Portland Key, do some hook and line fishing. But the weather is very hard. I didn't catch any amount. We catch fishing about. I didn't catch the amount. You know, I can't clear back my expense. I can't buy back my gas. But we give thanks to God still, you know. When I tell you the weather was cold out, the cold. Couldn't work none at all, man. Cool. And I used to have to hook up on my sponge.
The conditions at sea have resulted in losses, mostly to the nets and other equipment.
Whether about the fish now and catch and the fisherman then come back and then after mending up, not did it for them carry. It's just.
If we are going to see equipment mash up, every time we go see the net mash up, if the net no mash up, we go to get about something wrong. So we always a spend. With a low income.
The fishermen are now hoping that as the days progress, things will improve. They are also seeking the intervention from the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries to repair their nets. Carrie Simpson, TVJ News.
In the meantime, fishers in Party St. Elizabeth are now benefiting from a solar containerized cold storage unit. The initiative is the result of a collaboration between the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. The unit is especially beneficial to the fishing community as the area has no direct access to electricity. Speaking with TVJ News, Howard Simpson, an officer in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, explained how the solar-powered system will operate.
What we have here today is a system that can hold approximately probably 2,000 pounds of marine produce, specifically mostly fish. We have a 30 kilowatt solar system here, and we're having 3 by 5 fishes, and they can charge their phone for the entire, every day they can charge their phone. This unit actually will help the fishers to now store their product that they bring in from the sea, because we have no electricity here in Party. So this is a very good initiative within the different organizations.
In the meantime, program specialist based in Jamaica, Stacey Tomlinson Knox, says $9 million has been secured to provide 3 additional units in communities across the island.
Replicating this model, solarized containers with cooling solutions for fishermen so that they can store their fish and reduce post-harvest loss. We're still doing rehabilitation and we're in the reconstruction phase, right? So putting this solution in, while it feels temporary, it already is a catalyst to revitalize their livelihoods. So it gives them electricity, cooling solutions, so that they can go back to the sea, get the fish and store their catch. So invite persons back into the communities to purchase from the fishermen so they can begin to earn a living and rebuild.